Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Night Modern here at GameSwap and Mason. We got some decks for you. We picked two people that we'd never heard of. So we got two decks that we've never heard of.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. I think this black-white, it could be a smallpox deck.
It could be.
Or it could just be like mono removal.
Sure.
You never know.
So mono black vampires,
Is a real deck.
MTG Goldfish did a budget series on a mono black vampires deck recently. So
yeah.
Actually, maybe not even recently. It was quite a while ago,
So
I think.
you can play a really bad mono black vampires deck, or you can play one that's like almost pretty good. Like if you have
it's
like
decent.
four Vampire Nighthawks by itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
Gifted Aetherborn is also a vampire. So if you have like 4 of those and 4 Nighthawks, that's pretty legit against a lot of creature decks or things like Burn. But then you can also curve top into like Kalitas and Vampire Nocturnus.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Nocturnus is really good, and Kalitas is obviously just an all-star.
Jacob
so.
leading off with the
pre-game
Leyline of Sanctity into a tapped Godless Shrine.
It's a hell of a game already. I was not expecting
pre-game
that.
effects, which might be good against mono black vampires, although I think they're mostly creature focused.
Yeah, I doubt he has hand disruption, but the thing is, this would stop effects like. What's the 3 Gatekeeper of Malakir? Like that's a target player sacrifice.
But I'm not sure how relevant that'll be against a black-white control deck.
Yeah, I mean I don't know what this black like. I think it really is just going to be a smallpox deck. But if you were doing that, you wouldn't play Leyline. I don't think.
Someone asked why we put this on. Well, that's because we just picked random names that we didn't recognize to try and feature different decks. We'll see some of the regular people later, certainly.
I think it worked out pretty well.
Round 1 is a great time to get some weird decks featured.
Yeah. Well, we'll let the competition, we'll let the market equilibrium shake itself out.
Also,
later,
this creature here, it's called Indulgent Aristocrat. It's a 1/1 lifelink for 1, and then you can pay 2 and sack a vampire to put a counter on your whole team, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you knew that because I was.
It's from Shadows over Innistrad.
Okay, well, great. I didn't draft that format a whole lot, and even if I did, this is not the kind of card I would remember. It's uncommon.
Yeah.
I guess that's a lot of text for.
Yeah.
I guess it.
Yeah, we're live now. Arcane Prophet.
All right, another swamp.
Yeah.
So I got some feedback online from folks who want me to be more fair to the decks that we commentate on. So I've got this resolution where I'm going to treat all decks pretty fairly, except for Tron.
Okay.
So I'm excited for this mono black vampires deck. I think it could possibly get under Jacob, but you really would have liked a 2-drop.
I'm still not sure what this white-black control deck is playing. Here we got Castigate. That's interesting. So it's a
Castigate.
Thoughtseize effect that exiles, I believe.
I have not seen a Castigate.
We're gonna look at Willie's hand
forever.
That's a good one there. Captivating Vampire.
Yeah, Captivating Vampire is pretty good.
Fatal Push and 3 lands
right?
though. It's a 3-drop.
Oh, does its ability cost 5?
No, its ability is tap 5 vampires you control.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was a 5 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Castigate though, that's spicy.
So this. I'm not really sure why. I mean, this is probably a budget Thoughtseize option, but it can be relevant if you're playing things like Wasteland Strangler because it exiles the card.
Yeah, it's also relevant just for things like, you discard your opponent's Grizzlebrand that they're trying to reanimate.
Ooh, and I think Willie just drew another Fatal Push. Definitely not what he wants to see in this matchup, although Jacob does have a Cabal Council of Allocation in his hand. So
it's a good card. That
might be able to be Fatal Pushed if Willie's able to trigger Revolt. I think I also saw a Staff of Nin in Jacob's deck, which it's kind of an interesting finisher in a black-white control deck. I mean,
just
lock out a bunch of stuff.
Big EDH favorite for those of you who don't know. It's a 6-mana artifact.
I'm not sure if that's what it was, but
you're not sure?
No.
It'd be sweet if it was. 6-mana artifact, tap to deal a damage, and draw a card at your upkeep. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Well, here is a target for
Tithe Drinker.
Tithe Drinker. Yeah.
Tithe Drinker was a house of a card.
It's actually the Vampire Mirror, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there aren't any mirrors in play.
No, sure. Otherwise, you couldn't see them.
Tithe Drinker was really good back in Limited in Return to Ravnica days, but also was played in Standard some. There was some like black-white aristocrats aggro decks that would play this card.
Yeah, I like this card.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's like it's got a lot of abilities for 2 mana.
It's likely going to meet a Fatal Push here.
Hopefully. What is the body on this vampire that Willie has?
It is a 1/1.
Okay.
Now Willie actually just passed the turn instead.
All right. Okay.
Got a Shambling
Vents. Yeah. I'm curious why you'd have that tapped gain 1 life land when you have Shambling Vents.
Probably just more fixing in a budget option. So here's Kambal. If Willie does want to Fatal Push something, he should do it in response to this guy. So Kambal's a 2/3 that drains for 2 whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell. Not a vampire. This is our first non-vampire creature featured in this round. And Willie's just going to take the 2 damage from Tithe Drinker.
Well, Mario, don't you know that the scary thing about vampires is that they dwell among humans and we don't even know
That's
it.
true. he could be.
So
Could
maybe
be a
that's the
vampire for
theme
all
of
we know.
Jacob's deck. You know, it's like kind of a Dracula.
Yeah.
You know.
So Willie now has, from what we know, has the option to remove either of these creatures. He can trigger Revolt by sacking his polluted Delta, so you can Fatal Push Kumbal. Of course, he will drain himself.
Yeah, he will. He will drain himself. But I honestly, I can't tell what's worse for you here: a 2/3 or a 2/1 lifelink
Right,
that
yeah,
has
I'm
extort.
not sure.
Like, I mean, those are both. Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Willie's looking at the fetch, and I'm going to crack that. That is actually in a different zone than the
So
captivating vampire. I don't know if
Does
that's
Willie
relevant,
happen to be
but-
responding to Campbell?
No, this is on Willie's
Okay.
main phase.
So then he's almost certain not to be. He must prioritize the Campbell
Right.
for death over the Tithe Drinker, because otherwise he would have maybe done that in response.
Right.
Taking out the Tithe Drinker in response to Campbell.
Because no matter when you take out Campbell, you know you're going to take the 2 damage as long as it's.
Yeah, Campbell's a really neat card. It shows up a lot in Modern lately.
Yeah, have the sideboard of like humans been playing it maybe?
I've seen it in sideboard of humans.
stuff like
I've seen it in like black-white smallpox sideboard. I've seen it in Abzan mid-range sideboard.
Sure.
I've seen it in like Abzan Chord Company combo decks. It's just a good card.
Yeah.
So
it may also just be that Willie has a 4-drop here. No,
Taxes.
looks like he's going for the Fatal Push. So it'll take out Kumbal.
Okay.
Willie will take 2, and Jacob gains 2.
Man, I love the extort black-white theme of like the unholy corrupt church. It's like a great combination for those colors.
Orzhov is definitely my second favorite guild.
Yeah,
Orzhov's
after
pretty
Is
sweet.
it? Do you know the card Pontiff of Blight?
Yes.
What a sweet card.
That's
that was
a nice
one of the
one.
first rares I opened out of that set. I think that's from Dragon's Maze, right?
I think so.
Great card. Big fan.
So Willie has another Indulgent Aristocrat here. These aren't very good in multiples. They do require you
to sack 'em, right?
to sack it per activation. So you know, having 2 doesn't allow you to activate. Although they do have lifelink, so growing them does help.
I would love to see Willie play out a Vampire Nocturnus next turn off the top of the deck, but not sure that'll happen.
Wow, Jacob's just going to animate Shambling Ben here and get in for 4 lifelink. See if Willie has any other
That's
removal.
pretty good.
We're just going to trade with the Tithe Drinker.
Yeah, so probably a
fine.
little bit too early to chump block on Willie's part. One thing I see a lot of players do, especially new players, but everybody does it on accident sometimes or without really rationalizing it, but you never want to chump block too early, because at that point you're throwing away cards when you should be using your life total as a resource. So, yeah, usually you don't want to start doing that unless it's, your life total is getting down to the wire.
So here's a Malakir Callblade. This is I think it's a 1/1 for 2, and whenever a creature dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
I guess that chump block, he could have actually sacked the vampire in response.
He could have,
right?
but then he wouldn't have traded for Tithe Drinker, so.
Sure. And that would have it would have put 1 counter on
1 counter on the other Aristocrat, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what else is in Willie's hand. This Callblade it does synergize nicely with the Aristocrat, as if you sacrifice a guy, then you get a counter on both your team and on the Callblade itself. Oh no, I'm sorry. So Callblade is only an opponent controls. Okay. So slightly different. It's not quite the same.
That's
effect as-
interesting. That's that doesn't quite seem like an uncommon to me, but I could be wrong.
So here's an Inquisition, which cannot actually target Jacob. We need to.
Got a
stop
ley
this.
line of sanctity in there is going to stop Willie from being targeted. He actually can't cast it. Well, he can cast it targeting
He can cast it, but he has
himself.
to target himself.
So I think we're hopefully just going to get a rewind here.
Yeah. So we'll just pretend like he.
Yeah. So
didn't
he
use that.
forgot about it. Ley line's off to the side. So
Yeah.
we don't want to put it in the graveyard though.
Well, that's fine. No, I mean, he could target himself and not take anything.
No, you have to take a card if
Oh,
you
do,
can.
yeah, you're right.
So
No.
I think we just want to rewind and put that in his hand, but it's up
It's
up
not
to
likely to be relevant.
yeah. I mean, in this case, it's really up to the players and or a possible judge if they want to do anything about it. But yeah, unfortunately, when you do look at someone's hand with a Loxodon Smiter in it, you do have to take
right,
it
yeah.
if they've got no other options.
It requires you to take a card.
So yeah, it looks like I think Willie's just not going to cast it.
Yeah.
So that's all fine. I think that's a good way to handle it.
So he got in there for 2. So he's currently ever so slightly losing the race against Shambling Vent.
Yeah.
As he takes 2 damage but only gains 1 back each turn with lifelink.
I think Jacob must really hate burn decks.
Yeah, he's prepared.
He's prepared, certainly. He's even got his tap land, gain 1 life.
Here's another Tithe Drinker. And
is that a Squadron
Edge
Hawks?
of Divinity.
Oh.
That is nice.
Yeah, that is the folks. There's a whole set of those. There's like there's what's the blue-white one? Steel of the Godhead.
Yeah, that's
but there's like there's all 10 of these.
Yeah, so this creature being white-black gets
plus 3.
So now it's a 5/4 lifelink.
Yeah.
We did not pay for the extort on that though, so maybe Jacob's leaving up.
Maybe we're holding up mana
removal.
for Fatal Push or something.
Hopefully Willie has a Fatal Push to take out this very large Tithe Drinker.
So I'm not sure I would call Jacob's deck control. I'd maybe call it
mid-range. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more like a theme deck. I want to say it's more like black white extort or something.
I've been exploring Pauper a little bit lately.
Oh yeah.
And this interaction of cards is something I have played in Pauper, and Orzhov.
Tithe Drinker plus that enchantment?
Yes, plus that edge. It's an Orzhov like extort theme deck. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But Willie does have the Fatal Push, so that's a nice 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, that's why you don't play enchantments on creatures without hexproof.
Sure. Yeah. So that the Callblade does get a counter from that. I'm not sure if that's Willie's has to remember that or not, but
it doesn't really matter whether or not it's a May trigger. I think some people confuse things being May triggers as whether or not they happen. Even if it's not a May trigger, can still be missed if it's not a detrimental trigger.
Here is the Vampire Nocturnus with a black card on top, so that's gonna.
Oh, he has Vampire Nocturnus?
Yeah, that's
Hell
gonna greatly increase the size of his team here. I think they all get +2/+1 in flying. So that means
I think it's +2. Yeah, +2/+1 flying. Yeah.
Right. So this
but
is
only if the card on top is black,
which it currently is an Inquisition.
Right.
So this would be 7 damage coming across.
So
3 lifelink.
This deck from Willie actually seems like it's approaching the competitive level for a mono black vampires deck. The problem is these 1 and 2 drops don't seem like the best choices.
Yeah.
What you usually want to do is have Bloodghast,
right?
Just a recursive vampire, and then also play.
Even the new Ixalan card, Vampire Conquistador, is pretty good. It's a 1-drop.
It's white.
No, it's just 1 black.
It's black. What is it?
It's the 1/2 that whenever it attacks, you just drain. You do 1 damage to them.
Huh. That's interesting. So, what these decks used to play, maybe there are better options now. What you used to do is play Vampire Lacerator.
Yeah, that as well.
Which was a one mana 2/2.
The new one's like your other 4 1-drops if you want.
Okay,
if
sure,
you want a lot.
sure. But I mean, if you have Nocturnus and you have Inquisition, you're really just a couple cheap cards and a Mutavault or 2 away from a pretty sweet mono black deck.
So Jacob's just going to pass the turn there. He did find his 5th land, but it came in tapped as it was the Shambling Vent. Not sure. Jacob really has not been doing much. But now Willie has a Ghost Quarter on top. So his Vampires will be powered down here for this turn at least. Doesn't seem like he has a way to shuffle his own library.
Yeah, doubtful that he does.
And Willie's just going to attack for 1.
Yeah, you know what he needs is Painter Servant combo.
Oh yeah.
Painter Servant Vampire Nocturnus.
The color of
the
all
big
cards,
combo.
Yeah. So he's just attacking for 1 there in fear of running into Shambling Vent.
Yeah.
And it looks like Jacob does have a 5-drop to follow up, so we'll see what this is. It is the
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this card is called.
That's the red white or the red black white spirit avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there's one of these in every color. They all have hybrid mana symbols, so there's one in every guild color, I should say. I forget what this one does. I think this
Deathbringer Liege.
Yeah. There's the spirit avatars and then there's the lieges.
Right.
It's actually
the Gas Lords.
Yeah. The Lorwyn was the Gas Lords those are the spirit avatars, right?
So this pumps both white and black creatures by +1/+1, and it taps and destroys things. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this card's it's the same cycle as Wiltleaf Liege or Creekwood Liege.
Right, yeah.
Creekwood Liege, unfortunately, does not see any modern play.
All right, so it looks like Willie has, I think that's a Yahenni on top of his library. So again, his team does have +2/+1 in flying. So he can get in there for a pretty healthy amount.
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, if Jacob plays any more black-white spells,
Right.
we're going to see this Deathbringer do some work.
Yeah.
What kind of black-white spells? Are we casting Anguish on making?
We could. Yeah, definitely. Unmake maybe.
Unmake would be a good one.
That was another of the cards in my black-white pauper.
Unmake is pretty solid, though. The downside to Unmake, well, the upside to Anguished Unmaking in this deck over Unmake is that you gain so much life you don't care about the cost on Anguished.
So Jacob does fall to 8 there off the attack from the Flying Vampires.
We could see Utter End. How do
we could see Utter End, yeah.
How do we feel about Utter End?
Did you know that there is a full art variant of all of the past 3 cards we mentioned? Utter End, Anguish Unmaking, and Unmake all have full art.
Yeah, I own a full art Unmake.
Apparently they're black-white instants.
Well, Anguish Unmaking and Utter End have foil full art game days, though. Yeah. Whereas Unmake just has it just has that foil full art text or the non-foil full art textless player reward.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you like black-white instants, those are some nice full art
those are some good ones.
Variants for you.
Zealous Persecution would be a sweet one, but I don't know if Jacob has enough creatures to support that.
So I think this creature is called Gwipnilian.
Sure.
No, actually this is just an Orzhov Guildmage, I'm sorry. But this is both black and white, so he gets both effects of Deathbringer Liege, which allows him to tap a creature and destroy a creature that is tapped.
Oh, we're not gonna tap the. Oh, he's gonna tap. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, Orzhov. This deck is very cool that Jacob's playing. This is a sweet semi-casual black-white deck. I mean, he's got all the right cards in here for it.
So he was able to take out both a Nocturnus and Malakir Callblade. They're playing 2 black-white creatures, and with the Deathbringer in play, these creatures are actually both 4/4s.
Yeah,
not bad.
No.
So Willie there missing the ability to sacrifice his vampires to the Indulgent Aristocrat to put a counter on his team.
Yeah, not sure it would have mattered too much, but
yeah, probably not. But you know, if you're playing a 1-drop like this, you probably want to make the most use of it.
Because it's just a 1-drop 1/1, right?
Yeah, with lifelink.
Yeah, if you're gonna play a 1-drop 1/1 lifelink, you want to get some value out of it.
So I think Willie drew for turn the Yahenni, and he has at least 2 Inquisition of Kozileks in his hand, which obviously
it feels bad.
Yeah, not very good here against the Leyline of Sanctity. And these guild mages, they can both have Jacob gain life, which he is kind of low here at 6, and have Willie lose some life if you pay 3 mana. Looks like Willie's got something for 3 here. It's going to be a Henny, right?
Okay. Yeah, Henny Undying Partisan, right?
Yeah.
What is that? It's a 3/2 haste. And
3/3.
Sacrifice
it's a 2/2 haste.
2/2 haste. Sacrifice something, get a counter, make it
sacrifice
indestructible.
Something to make it indestructible. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So it will get a +1/+1 counter here, making it a 3/3 and taking out the Orzhov Guildmage.
Wow, this game feels closer than it should be.
Yeah.
I feel like Jacob's had all the cards. You know, he's blown out his opponent with his ley line, but he's actually kind of in danger. You got to tread carefully here.
So Willie is currently attacking 3/3 Yahenni into this 4/4 Guildmage. I'm not sure if he realizes it's a 4/4, or maybe he has a trick. He can sacrifice,
but that would not even help
the creature. Yeah, right. He can make it indestructible.
So does he have another Fatal Push in hand? That would be sweet. He can sacrifice the vampire to put a counter on it, make it 4/4 indestructible.
I'm not sure if the vampire or the aristocrat can sacrifice itself. It can. Okay, so he could do that. So that'll put a counter on Yahenni.
Right, but then they'll just trade.
Yeah, Yahenni will just trade.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good.
Okay, so it looks like instead. Oh no, that does actually. Well.
God, Indulgent Aristocrat is an incredibly flavorful card.
Yeah, it's nice. But I'm not sure. So Willie paid the 2 mana here. He sacrificed the Aristocrat. So I guess that's what he put a counter on Yahenni.
So
there might be some confusion here about the sacrificing. I think he
yeah,
wants
he can only sacrifice something once.
Right. I think he wants to make it indestructible.
Yeah, he wants a 4/4 indestructible, but you can't have it as far as we can tell. So he's got to choose here. Does he want Yahenni to leave?
So it looks like he just chose to make it indestructible, which he didn't have to pay the 2 mana for, but
right. He's got 2 mana floating.
Well, that's now floated out of his pool, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
So that was fine, but now the problem is that if Jacob casts any spell, he can just destroy Yenny because it's now tapped. And here we have that card, which I
know what that
definitely
is.
do not know the name of.
I know what that card is. I've seen it.
This deck is sweet. It's like the Orzhov Guild theme deck.
Yes, it is. Well, but it's using the best of Guild Pact, the original Ravnica block, but it's also using the best of the Lorwyn block, and they have the very similar color palette.
Yeah.
So this is sweet. I mean, this is. What is that card?
Souls
of the Faultless. That's right. Card's pretty sweet.
A 0/4 with Defender that drains whenever it takes damage. Interesting. Wow, the art on that is wild. I'm surprised I've never seen this card.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
We were just talking earlier with Victor Kurz about if they ever made Magic into like a hologram kind of thing. Like
a augmented reality type.
Right, like augmented reality, and you would not want to play against Souls of the Faultless.
Definitely not.
I would not swing into that crap.
No.
I just leave it alone.
Yeah. Put
it in the corner and hope to forget about it.
Yeah. So that was an attack for 7 there for Willie. So he is he's gonna die to these creatures here pretty quick. In fact, I think, well, maybe not next turn, but definitely a 2-turn clock at the least. And with just a Polluted Delta, I think that means the last 2 cards in Willie's hand are just these Inquisitions that he can't cast. So actually, yeah, no, he is dead on board with the Shambling.
Willie's got some pretty nice fetch lands for having such underwhelming 1-drops.
I mean, it's not like the 1-drops are expensive. He probably just chose Indulgent Aristocrat over the Lacerator.
Yeah, I guess.
So we'll see if Jacob animates Shambling Vents here. Looks like he's going to. Willie does, of course, have the Ghost Quarter. Oh, no, we are not animating Shambling Vents. We are playing Sanguine Bond.
Do you think we have Sanguine Bond Exquisite Blood combo?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we have that combo? It's a sweet combo.
Of course, Jacob's not gaining any life this turn, but whenever he does gain life, that will then in return damage Willie.
That combo would probably be more flavorful in Willie's deck. What do we think?
Maybe.
Just
the vampire theme is
just
flavorful, but the draining theme is good for the Orzhov Guild.
Sure. And Jacob does have his Tithe Drinkers, which, of course, are also vampires.
Yes, that's true.
So, folks, I got a quick thought real quick. I thought of it when we mentioned Zealous Persecution earlier. This is just some fun factoids about that card. That card is so busted and powerful for its mana cost. It's kind of ridiculous. And to give you some perspective on that thought, can we pull up the card Profit and Loss?
I don't know what that is.
Profit and Loss is a split card from Dragon's Maze, the Orzhov split card that's uncommon. Yeah. Here's the thing. When Profit and Loss was first printed, my friends and I railed against this card for how terrible it was. They're like, why would they make this card at uncommon? Wow. Why would they make this at uncommon when Zealous Persecution exists, right?
Right.
And then I learned that Profit and Loss was good enough to be played in Legacy. You play it in black decks without access to white because there is no instant speed -1/-1 that's one-sided as powerful as Loss.
Well, there is now, but maybe at the time there wasn't.
Oh, is there a new one?
Make Obsolete was printed in Kaladesh. It's the exact same effect for 3 mana.
Same as Loss?
Yeah.
Right, so why not play Profit and Loss?
Right.
Profit and Loss is still strictly better than that.
Yeah.
So Profit and Loss is good enough to be played in the ultra-competitive, time-tested Legacy metagame in decks that don't have access to white. That's how powerful Zealous Persecution is. That is
for those unfamiliar, Zealous Persecution is this card here, Profit and Loss, but just you get both effects for just black-white at instant speed.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Profit and Loss is played in Legacy.
In fact, they in the Explorers of Ixalan board game, they printed a new art of Zealous Persecution with the Vampires of Ixalan on it.
Did they
It's
really?
actually pretty cool. Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, it's
crap.
It's interesting.
I haven't seen that ever. Like it's like the size of an actual card.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. Never mind. That could have been cool. I don't like the Conquistador theme. It's kind of off-putting, and I don't know.
Rejoice, your vile blood will help fulfill our righteous cause.
Wow, that's dark and maybe culturally insensitive.
So hopefully, from a sideboarding perspective, Willie took out his discard spells against the Leyline deck, but we'll see.
Or you might just hope that Jacob took out his ley lines because he knew his opponent would take out his hand. You never know.
I feel like if you're running main deck ley lines, though, you're less likely to take them out because you really want that effect.
Yeah. I'm not sure why this deck is running main board ley line unless his thought is like, well, if my opponent can't cast spells on me and I'm gaining a bunch of life, how will I lose? And in some ways, he's kind of right.
Sure.
But I'd be worried about some of these creatures that don't necessarily have any ETB effects.
Yeah. So it looks like both players are thinking about their hands. See a good mix of lands and spells in Jacob's. Looks like Willie decided to keep as well.
All right, basic swamp is a good start. That's one of my favorite swamps. It's from the Innistrad block. There's actually a different permutation of that same swamp art across all 3 sets. An Innistrad one, a Dark Ascension one, and an Avacyn one.
Huh.
And they sort of go from regular Gothic-y to dark Gothic-y to somewhat hopeful, glimmery Gothic-y.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Jacob here leading off with a tapped Godless Shrine.
Godless Shrine is such a flavor win for the Black-White Church.
Yes, that's also true.
What a great... They really outdid themselves with the Orzhov Guild.
Did you know that the prediction currently, after having released the last story of the link between Ixalan and Dominaria, a lot of people think that after Dominaria we are returning to Ravnica.
Return to Ravnica? Yeah. Hell yeah. RT. Yeah, that could be fun.
But apparently there's a lot of hints in the story that suggest that that's what that's the next step.
I feel it feels too soon. Wasn't
it does,
that was like 2013.
Yeah, it was fairly certain.
2012, 2013. That feels too soon, but I don't know. Yeah, I could go back.
Right. So it looks like Willie does have a 2-drop here. Let's see if it's anything
Is
new.
it going to be...
It is Sign in Blood.
That's a good one. Sign in Blood is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that in the mono black deck.
So draws 2, loses 2. Another flavor win there. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of vampiric.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, Signing in Blood is more like a lich thing than a vampire thing.
Sure.
But I'm no vampire or vampire hunter.
Ooh, we got Eily Eternal Pilgrim.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who watch the stream and follow Michael Farrell and his girlfriend recently got a dog that is black with white splotches on it. And they were trying to think of a name for it, and I said, "Why don't you name it Ailey?"
Yeah, that's a good name. Did they go with it?
They wanted to do it. They named it Lily instead, like Liliana of the Vale. And I'm like, well, she's not really black-white though. So I thought I had a great idea, but they did not accept it.
So this may be the only match in Modern I've ever seen. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Where both players are playing a card with an activated ability that lets them sacrifice a creature.
The only match where both players?
Yeah.
No, because you've got all the Viscera decks.
Okay, sure. I guess in the Viscera
and then you've got...
Yeah, but 2 different decks.
2 different decks. Okay, you've got a Viscera deck against... that sacrifice another creature? Specifically? So I was thinking like Pasali Pride Mage.
No, they sacrifice a creature you control.
Okay, Viscera.
Maybe not. Anyways,
that's all I got.
So Gatekeeper of Malakir here being kicked caused Jacob to sacrifice Ailey, which is pretty good there. And then Jacob followed up with this another Comball.
Viscera versus a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat aggro deck.
Okay, there you go.
Wrecked. Get wrecked, Mario.
So not a matchup in Modern, but fair enough. You thought of something.
No. Falcon Wrath Aristocrat sees some play in Modern.
Sure.
She used to see a bunch of play in Pod, like Jund Pod and stuff. But she still sees some play.
The Comball is pretty good at holding down Gatekeeper of Malakir. His Gatekeeper is only a 2/2. And Comball is a 2/3. Not going to be able to get through that unless we find a Lord effect, of which I have to imagine there's at least 8 in Willie's deck. There's probably 4 Captivating Vampires, 4 Nocturnus.
Well, Captivating Vampire's not an actual Lord, right?
Yeah, it gives your team +1/+1.
It does?
Yeah. All right, so here we got an Inquisition, which does connect this time without the ley line, although that does drain Willie for 2. All right, can't get a good look at Jacob's hand. It looks like he's got more Orzhov Guild Mages. A Tithe Drinker. And I'm not sure what those 2 middle cards are. Looks like Willie's thinking about taking the Tithe Drinker.
They sort of look like unhinged swamp or unswamps.
All right, Tithe Drinker down. I don't think they were lands. They looked like they had some text to them.
I didn't really think of it earlier, but these new art Inquisitions are also a flavor win
flavorful, yes,
for Willie's deck here. Yeah, big fan. These players really
bring the flavor to the table. And
yeah.
that's something I feel like is often remiss.
Often overlooked.
in Magic,
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, obviously competitive modern decks have no relation to flavor.
That's not
usually,
always true, but yeah.
But and that's obviously no fault of them. It's a different format. But when you see a nice flavorful deck, it makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh sure, for sure.
You know, I'm a fan of building flavorful decks.
Oh, look at that that OG foil swamp. I wonder what set that's from.
Not sure what set that's from.
Huh.
So Jacob with Tainted Remedy.
Tainted Remedy.
Nice.
Oh, baby. Whew.
So I think this says whenever your opponent would gain life, they lose that much life instead.
No. It's when you gain life, your opponent loses that much, right?
No, that's the other effect.
Wait, why would? Oh.
So if your opponent tries to gain life, they instead lose that much life.
Does Jacob have a way to force his opponent to gain life?
He does actually. The Orzhov Guild mages, but they already have the effect of making your opponent lose 1 life. But instead, you can target them to gain 1 life.
Right.
And then they lose 1 life.
But does Tainted Remedy? Can you use Tainted Remedy to combo with Exquisite Blood?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I think it has to be Sanguine Blood, Exquisite Bond, or whatever.
Yeah.
Sanguine Bond, Exquisite
because
Blood.
I don't think you can target people with the other enchantments. Maybe this was a sideboard choice against the lifelinking.
Yeah, so Exquisite, let's figure this out. Exquisite Blood, whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much. And then Sanguine Bond is when you gain, so that's what creates the loop.
Right.
Tainted Remedy would not create a loop.
It might just be a hedge against the lifelinking vampire that we saw out of Willie's deck.
Yeah, I guess.
Here we got Bloodline Keeper. That's a pretty good one.
Bloodline Keeper's extremely. This card actually sees play. It used to see play, but could still see play in like Abzan mid-range sideboard.
Yeah.
I mean, people used to play one. It's just insanely valuable. Like 4-mana 3/3 flyer is not bad, but every time it taps, you get a 2/2 flyer, and you can transform it to get a 5/5 Lord of Lineage.
Yeah.
That is a +2/+2 Lord effect that still taps to make what are essentially 4/4 vampires. Like, this card is kind of disgusting. I'm surprised it's not a mythic.
I think a Geth's Verdict maybe took out the Gatekeeper on Willie's head, causing him to sacrifice a creature.
Right, and you also
now
lose
we
1
have
life. Yeah.
Edge of Divinity on Kambal, which turns him into a 5/6 Kambal.
It's not bad.
Wow.
Not bad. So Geth's Verdict used to be played
I think that was Geth's
before
Verdict. It was definitely some sort of...
No, that is a Geth's
effect.
Verdict. Okay. That used to be played before Fatal Push. You know, Mono Black Control used to try some of those back in the day. It's generally worse than, like, Tribute to Hunger or Devour Flesh, but it's all right.
So Jacob is stuck on 3 lands. He's ahead on life total, but if Willie just sits here and pumps out a vampire every turn, he can definitely put a strong foot forward in this game.
Captivating Vampire plus Lord of Lineage, that's a combo.
That is a combo.
I mean,
and
this is a small combo you could play in a competitive mono black vampire deck. I mean, if you're tearing apart your opponent's hand with like Inquisition and Collector Brutality.
Willie decides to attack for 3 in the air there instead. I definitely would prefer just making some vampires, but...
Yeah, I agree.
We do have Westvale Abbey as well. Oh, it's an attack for 4. I'm sorry, yeah. The Bloodline Keepers are 3/3 by default. Here's another Ailey. And we're in there with our 5/6 Kambal. So if Willie doesn't block here, he will go down to 5.
Yeah, it would have been really nice
and he can't gain life. Because if he does, he instead loses that much life.
Sure. It would have been really nice for Willie to just hold up his Lord of, or his
Bloodline Keeper.
His Bloodline Keeper there, tap it, make a chump blocker.
Right.
Or just take the damage and not jump block so early and try to, you know, I mean, because Captivating Vamp, I mean, that's such a combo.
Right.
I mean, that's insane value. Like with just 2 untaps, you can have an army.
Well, you know what Tainted Remedy is quite good against?
Lightning Helix?
Ormadal Profane Prince. Which, if he flips Westvale Abbey, he literally just cannot attack with it because he'll just lose.
Yeah, he'll die.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You'd kill but you could kill your opponent with it because you'd die before the Tainted. Your opponent would die before the Tainted Remedy trigger.
Well, assuming they're at enough life for it to just be lethal.
To die, yeah. If your opponent had 9 life.
If not, though, you can't.
If the attack was,
So a Fatal Push takes out Ailey there.
Wow, I didn't think about that card having use against lifelink creatures. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of useful, assuming that their lifelink creatures aren't just killing you.
Like, if you're playing, like, Black-Red Burn, do you play, like, a Tainted Remedy in the sideboard for fun?
I mean, how do Soul Sisters beat it?
I think they don't.
Yeah, Soul Sisters cannot beat Tainted Remedy.
It's like making all of their Soul Sisters into banned standard cards.
Into Rampaging Ferocidon.
Rampaging Ferocidon. Oh, man. Good times. Good times we have here on Top Deck Productions.
So Ailey has been pushed off a cliff twice this game.
Yeah. She's still coming back.
Yeah.
Coming back for more.
Looks like we are making a guy here with Westphal Abbey.
Yeah, that seems not as good as just using Bloodline Keeper, but you might as well do both.
Yeah, the problem, though, is that every time you make a guy, they do not have white-black human clerics, I am certain, because I've been trying to acquire these tokens, and they are impossible to find.
Well, you know where they have those from is there's not only these new ones, but there's an old white-black human cleric token from the card Death Pact Angel. The old terrible mythic from Gate Crash.
Back and forth.
Yeah, the literal worst mythic from Gate Crash ever.
But the problem with using Westphal Abbey here is that it does do 1 damage to you, so Willie is all the way down to 2, and now he actually can't even cast any non-creature spells.
Ormondal does damage to you?
No, the Westphal Abbey does. Yeah, it
that's what
costs 1 life to make a guy.
I forgot about that.
So Willie down to 2. He cannot cast non-creature spells. He can block, which is probably going to have to be what he does here.
Let's see if we see some instant speed tapping Bloodline Keeper action here.
Well, he can just jump block with his cleric if he wants. But here we got another Souls in the Fall list.
Campbell's a 6/6 or
it's a 5/6.
5/6. What is that?
It's the indicator that it's a white-black human cleric instead of a soldier, I suppose.
Wow, pro stream runner we got helping us out here on camera.
All right, so it looks like we are going to jump block. Probably should keep that handy if we're probably going to make. Well, I don't know if we're going to make many more since we can only make 2. Ooh, and looks like Willie forgets to activate his Bloodline Keeper.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, as it would give him additional blockers, and it would also put him closer to being able to use.
Willie can't even cast a spell without dying. Right. He can't cast an instant or sorcery here without dying.
He also can't attack because this creature would drain him.
Yeah.
If it blocked. It doesn't have flying, but
he's pretty screwed.
Yeah, he's kind of getting locked out here. Well,
folks, it was nice knowing you, Willie, but it might be over.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that gets him out of this. I mean, he actually can't. I would say that, like, oh, Damnation would be fine, but he literally can't cast a spell without dying.
Westphal Abbey is not legendary on the front side, so we can't have 2 of those.
That seems dumb. Why did they do that?
I'm not sure.
What a card. That card was a scourge.
Bloodghast.
Oh, he does have the Bloodghast.
Cannot block. All right, so not great.
Oh, man.
Position is not looking great for Willie. I think we're making another guy. So we're down to 1.
So we're down to 1 life. Well, we are alive for a little bit longer.
Do we have any elf decks to feature tonight? We may.
We almost certainly do. We got 47 players here
there's
tonight.
quite a few people here.
It don't even matter. It's awesome.
Yeah, let us know in chat, anybody, if there's something you want to see.
I do know that Paul, who usually plays elves,
He's playing like Sultai tonight, right?
I'm not sure, but I know he's been kind of remiss about being featured on camera so frequently, so maybe we'll give him a week off.
Okay. He was playing Sultai something recently, like Sultai Delirium. Or Sultai. He actually wasn't playing Delirium, but he was playing Hostage Taker.
Nice.
He was comboing it with something. Can't remember.
All right, well, we were able to attack with Bloodline Keeper there, as the defender does not have flying.
Oh, man. We'd have to go back and do the math. I think you might have been able to win this game if you were just using Bloodline Keeper's ability.
Yeah, that might be true.
I mean, you could put together an enormous swing in the air.
Right. And here is the Orzhov Guild Mage, which that alone will just kill Willie if Jacob's able to untap. And we have another Edge of Divinity on Comm, so Comm, currently the largest Comm has ever been. It's a 8/9.
He's got a big head.
It's an 8/9.
8/9 Campbell. How about that?
Wow.
I like how Willie is stacking his lands. I prefer this over the people that literally put their lands in stacks like on top of each other and like they conceal them.
So Willie just drew a Gatekeeper, which can cause Jacob to sacrifice a creature.
Well, maybe Jacob will horrendously misplay and sack Campbell.
Sacrifice. Or he could say, well, I mean, the Orzhov Guild Mage is actually just lethal. You can activate its ability to either deal 1 damage to Willie or have Willie gain 1 life, but then Tainted Remedy will deal 1 damage to him.
Wait a minute. Why didn't we activate Orzhov Guildmage last turn?
He just played it last turn.
Oh, he just played that too.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So the only thing Willie could do here is if he has another vampire, he can use the Captivating Vampires effect to... Well, I was going to say to steal the Orzhov Guildmage, but Jacob decided to sacrifice it.
But does it only steal...
The Captivating Vampires tap 5 vampires to gain
control of any
another
creature.
Yeah.
Man, so...
All right, so Willie... I mean, yeah, Willie can continue to just block Kambal.
Yeah, why would Jacob sack the guild? Whatever.
I'm not sure.
Whatever. It's fine.
Well, we're in there with Bloodline Keeper.
Oh, jeez. Getting in there for 3 feels a little painful right now.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'm pretty
seem
sure
right.
we could have gone tap, 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 block with Ormondal tokens
Yeah.
and swung for like 26 in the air or something.
That might be true.
But...
Well, without the Guildmage, Jacob does not have a direct way to kill Willie.
Where are these extort creatures?
Yeah, I'm
we
not
need
sure.
a Tithe Drinker.
Looks like we got something here.
Oh,
Okay, another Orzhov
another
Guildmage.
one.
Okay.
Willie's got another chance.
Except now, oh, we had the
Except,
temple
yeah,
lock, right?
now there's almost no way that Willie gets up to 5 vampires to take control of one of these.
Right.
And it wouldn't matter anyway because Willie can't gain life. He's just dead. This is actually like a hard lock.
Yeah.
You have to, if you don't remove, yeah, this is actually like a hard lock. Willie has no actions. There's not a single spell you could put in Willie's hand. There's no number of spells you could put in Willie's hand that would win him the game. There's not a single possible way.
You're wrong.
What?
He could cycle Decree of Pain.
He could cycle Decree of Pain. That's right.
Yep.
You are right. You are right. I'm so dumb.
All right, so Jacob is down to 6 here from the the Bloodline Keeper, but all Jacob has to do is activate this Orzhov Guildmage, which he looks like he sees the line. That'll do 1 damage to Willie, and that'll be it.
Folks,
for game
I
2.
am really looking forward to watching this match again.
This was a nice one.
This was...
It was interesting. Definitely some cool decks.
I mean, that was very... That was just out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen this shit since Jerry Springer. Which, by the way, folks, did you know that Jerry Springer, former mayor of Cincinnati?
Wow.
Yeah. He actually got his start in television by he went through a political scandal, and then he's like, screw this, I'm going to go do slapstick crap TV. Anyway,
All right,
we'll be back.
Jacob on Black-White Control takes someone 2-0 over Mono Black Vampires. Two decks you didn't expect to see.
No,
and
yeah,
a lot of interactions you definitely didn't expect to see. But that was a fun one.
Remember when we had the 5-mana Black-White Liege out?
Yeah.
And we didn't tap and destroy the Vampire Nocturnus?
Well, he did, because he had two effects to do it. So we eventually got around to it.
You're right.
Anyway, that'll do it for round 1. Not too much time left here, so we are not going to find another game. Somebody requested Infect as well, so we will see if anyone's on Infect. We'll try to get that up. If not,
yeah, we'll try to put Infect against Tron.
Regardless of what deck we have, we will be back in about 7
minutes.
to 10 minutes for round 2. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching.